every last bit of that gap on Dries de Bond until they are completely sure that they can sprint for the win, because he's not giving up.
Certainly isn't. Almost, it's one of those situations the peloton probably had a little sigh of relief, and you saw quite a few riders peel off and not come back to the front, almost thinking the job was done. And then de Bont just throws down a massive attack and opens that gap out again. It looks like there was only 2 riders maybe still working at the front of the peloton at that stage, and suddenly the call's gone out again that de Bont has put the hammer down, and more riders have to head back to the front of the peloton to desperately try and close this down. Oh, finally a shake of the head from de Bont.
It could be a little bit of theatre there, Ian. I wouldn't put it past him. This man has won Belgian championships holding off a peloton for about 15 kilometres, and they only had 10 seconds. Oh, he only had 10 seconds. We go into the final 2.5 kilometres right now. Another rider for Lotto at the front. We also find Bahrain victorious, the team of Fred Wright. They have Mohoric quite possibly to go for a sprint. Why not Fred Wright himself? But look at the shape of this peloton, Ian. Everybody is racing at full gas, à bloc, as the Belgians often call it. And at this pace, it's also really difficult to get a good sprint preparation on the rails.
It's very difficult if you're not in a good position right now to move up at 60 kilometres an hour. And we know how narrow that final turn onto that final main road is. We know, we spoke about it on the previous lap, how it's going to naturally line out of that corner. Finally, a bit of a sit-up at the front of Jaco Alula moving up on the left-hand side. They'll be all in for Dylan Groenewegen, I mentioned earlier. But everyone trying to find their position, find their teammates for this final 1.5 kilometres now.
Yeah, we go onto a rather narrow road and then onto the finish straight. So everybody wants to be at the front. For now, it looks pretty solid for Jaco Alula, also for the Picnic Postinel team. We haven't seen Jaco Alula at all involved in the chasing of our breakaway. Picnic Postinel have been working pretty hard. That might be a little different. Let's see if they're going to play the card of Magnier or the card of Tim Merlier. Looks like Tim Merlier is the last man in that little train. His regular lead-out, Tim Merlier's regular lead-out, Bert van Lerbergen, no longer in the race, but Dries van Gestel can do a pretty good job for that. We're inside the final kilometre, and Jaco Alula have started their sprint for Dylan Groenewegen with Luca Meskec at the front. This is Eduardo Affini for the Visma Leasebike team, who is just time trialing his way away from the peloton at the moment. Olaf Kooi a little bit further back. We have Kubic still quite at the front despite everything that he did. For now, it's a train for Jaco Alula. Might be Marijn van den Berg in pink on his wheel. A little bit further back, we find Tim Merlier now moving up to the front on the left-hand side. Eduardo Affini is just powering on into that final. We're also sprinting with Axel Laurens, and then comes Olaf Kooi on the right-hand side of the road. Olaf Kooi with Laporte in front of him. Marijn van den Berg doing that sprint. Pavel Bittner on the right-hand side. Olaf Kooi starts his sprint now. Has to get past Albanese. Olaf Kooi, and then through the middle, it's Laurens Bianca still there, or is it going to be Tim Merlier? Tim Merlier gets it. Tim Merlier gets it. And as always, Ian, he makes it seem so easy.
For sure, it was all about the timing. Olaf Kooi just went too early. That drag all the way to the line. Tim Merlier probably launched with only around about 200, maybe 150 metres to go on that right-hand side. That wind from the left just probably meant he had a little bit more protection all the way. But as you say, wins relatively comfortably in the end. Bittner was in the wheel, but just couldn't make any impression. Tim Merlier, yet another win for the European champion this season.
Yeah, he's just making the most of his time in that jersey, because European Championships are in France, quite hilly this year. But he moves up at 500 metres to go. Dries van Gestel does good work at the front, finds his way through the peloton, and then, like you said, only 100 metres of sprinting to do. And of course he's tired, you know, you can see he's tired, but he makes it seem so effortless.
He certainly does. Time and time again he shows that he's the strongest and the fastest sprinter in a lot of these races, and once again today, once he made his way out, a little bit boxed in, but once he made his way out to the front, it's yeah, game over for the rest of them.